Hello, I'm Riley. I'm a renter in the Inner West, and I also work at the Tenants Union. So what's your name? What's your relationship to renting? Whereabouts do you live?
Sure. I'm Dylan. I'm a councillor on Inner West Council. I rent in Dulwich Hill, but I've rented around Inner West for really the past decade and a bit. Well, my whole life, but yeah, as an adult, past decade.
Yeah, awesome. And have you ever rented with a pet? I'll hold it.
Okay,
it's all
yeah,
good.
absolutely. And since 2012, I've had a cat, and we've moved maybe, a lot, unfortunately, which isn't great when you have a pet, and it always makes the moving process a bit harder.
So I definitely asked Chloe this question as well. Not a particularly politically hard-hitting question, but what is your pet's name and how old are they, and are they perfect?
Yeah, so Umi is perfect, and she's 10.
Yeah, awesome. So what kind of barriers have you experienced as a renter with a pet?
Yeah, well, I guess, unfortunately, in the eyes of some landlords and real estate agents, it makes you a weaker applicant, I would say. And I think in a more informal sense, it also does, I think, encourage real estate agents to almost make you rent bid around your pet. So you get a lot of things, like say when the rate's broadbanded, a rental between $400 and $450. They'll say, oh yeah, but if you're going to have a pet, you'll need to do the $450 if you want to be a successful applicant. I think that's something that a lot of renters see. And yeah, just straight up, a lot of properties which are from my eyes would totally be suitable for a cat. But you'll have on the listing strictly no pets. You'll go to a real estate agent and you say, I have a pet, and they're like, no, that rules it out. And you don't even know if that's true or not. Is that the real estate agent's policy? Is that coming from the landlord? Have they actually really considered it in a genuine nature?
Yeah, definitely. You've touched on quite a few issues. So going a little more broadly, you are an elected representative. You have, I guess, constituents. Do people in your community come to you and talk about renting issues? And what is renting like for the people in your community?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And, my area, almost 50% of people rent. And when I ran for council, I did look and I saw that every other councillor actually owned a property. I thought, well, in an area where there's 50% renters, it's time for one of us to get elected. And people talk to me about this type of stuff all the time. So it's through a renter's lens. When people talk about local government, they talk about ratepayers a lot of the time. So I think it's important to remind people that it's actually all residents that matter and need representation. And that comes when, say, the services that people use when they're moving, whether that's waste services to get rid of stuff when they're moving out. It comes from cost of living issues as well. Anyone who rents in Sydney knows that it's just through the roof, taking half your pay packet. Definitely a lot of local government services as well. Like when I walk past Marrickville Library and I see someone studying in bed, working from home from the library, because I know that they don't have the space to do that at home, that makes me really proud as councillor, because I know that we're providing a good service for renters. So yeah, there's quite a bit of services that overlap with renters. I would say they're underrepresented in local government, and we should be pursuing rental or issues that disproportionately impact renters. We should be talking about those issues a lot more.
Yeah, yep. So if you could change one thing, any one particular thing not related to pets about renting in New South Wales, what would it be?
Not related to pets?
Not related to pets, so more broadly.
Well, absolutely, it's no grounds eviction, because like when you're talking about renting in New South Wales, renting in Australia, like renters need bargaining power, and if a landlord can kick you out for no reason at all, without any type of explanation, I think that really does stymie any ability for renters to pursue other rights as well. So, I'm sure many people, for instance, might actually get evicted because they have a pet at home, but it might not be explicitly because of the pet. It will be through the no grounds eviction clause. So I think that's always an important starting point for us to pursue, and I really hope we can change that soon. It's such a regressive law.
Definitely agreed. It is one of our campaign demands, definitely. So last question, if you could say one thing to the renters of New South Wales, what would you say?
Yeah, well, I would say get organised, and hopefully we can actually force change through government, so we can have a fair go for renters, make renting fair.
Thanks, Dylan.